Good morning, everybody. It's nice how the sun's coming in. I love it. All right, so yoga with cello, welcome. We're gonna have a full practice of yoga. I'm going to be facing you or away from you, but you won't be without guidance. And I do use the cello to sometimes lead, sometimes for a pause, and sometimes for when I notice that the class is ready to exit out of something, then I'll move on with cello, or I'll move away from cello and move back to guiding. So it's a little bit of like DJ work is what I discovered it's really like. So we're going to begin with centering on our mats. So maybe finding a comfortable seat on your mats, and maybe mid-mat so that we can also lay back eventually. But we're going to start off by sitting up nice and tall. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Let it all go. Come on in, y'all are welcome. So 2 cleansing breaths. Notice the sounds of the city. Notice the busyness that sometimes is a part of downtown. And notice, check that in the breath as well, how we can just breathe. So focusing on the breath, and try to check those things off at the door that don't serve you. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of box breathing here. So box breathing is drawing 4 parts like on a square. The cello can keep the count. And there's a pause between each side. So maybe decide how you're going to visualize that. So begin by nice inhale through the nose, and exhale, let it all go. Nice sigh. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Continue at your own pace, drawing that box that you love, maybe putting a thought in the box, if that suits you. As you inhale, let the ribs expand. Inhale, reaching through the crown of the head. Exhale and soften. Continue breathing at your own pace. We're going to begin by lying back on our mats to add some of the physical components of the yoga practice. So just lying back comfortably, rolling back, using those forearms as support. And don't be afraid of sitting up front. All right. So one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Doesn't matter which one. Just drawing awareness to the breath. Letting the belly fill. And as you exhale, draw the rib cage in that houses our heart. Our heart is a symbol, is used as a symbol, but it's also one of our organs that gives us life. So appreciating gratitude for that heart. Inhale, fill a little bit deeper, growing through the crown of the head, maybe even pointing the toes, going longer. And exhale, draw it all back in. And now we're just going to begin to sort of fold into one side. So begin peeling that right arm off the mat and walking it over, and that right shoulder is going to lift, and then meeting that opposite hand, directing that top foot pointing back. So we're just creating a nice long sliver here. So we're folding in half, reaching at the diagonal of the yoga mat. Inhale here, and exhale, release back towards the mat. Arms are out like star, whatever we have space here for. And now reaching that left arm over towards that opposite arm, pointing that top foot down and back, pointing the toes, getting a nice stretch here. Be out nice and wide. Closing the hands in like fists, opening them up, closing and opening. Like a heartbeat. And bring those hands now in towards the hips. Think about drawing the chin slightly down, tucking the chin towards the chest, just releasing the back of the neck. Looking to one side and then the other. And then tucking the chin in towards the chest. And then lifting the head up, like point to the nose back. So finding a little bit of movement here. And now bringing the soles of the feet up. Knees are pointed up. You're going to just find a little bit of pelvic tilt here. So start drawing the tailbone, curving it up. Scooping the belly in. And then the reverse, pointing the tailbone back. Lifting in the chest, lifting the belly. Creating that nice sway low back, and then back to tucking the tailbone under. So finding this rocking motion. So this can initiate nice range of motion in the low back, the mid back. And then we're going to draw these knees in nice and close. Hug them in. Releasing that low back, maybe rocking side to side. And then front and back. And now if your feet aren't crossed, begin to cross the feet. And if you have access to those feet with the hands, or just even drawing the shins in a little closer, whatever you've got here. So if you have crossed feet and you like to grab those, so grab those in, inhale, exhale, a little bit more pull, inhale, and exhale. Start rocking forward towards the top of your mat. So we're going to come up to a nice seated position, sitting up nice and tall. So begin to bring the hands into prayer. Inhale, reach the arms up. Hands into prayer. Circle them out. Inhale, reaching up. Hands into prayer. So twisting over to your right side, reaching those arms up. Twisting over to your right side, or pick a side. Looking towards that back wall. Reaching through the crown of the head, staying here in your twist. And release that twist back through to center. Hands can be down on the knees, reaching the arms up. And now finding this opposite side. So as we come around, using that support of the back hand, a little pull on that outside of the leg. Looking back, inhale, a little length. Exhale, a little more twist. Inhale, reaching the arms up, looking up. A little bit of extension here. So finding those hands, interlace the fingers, and reverse. Reaching the palms up, feeling that opening in the armpits. And we'll come over to your right side. So planting that hand down, top arm reaches over, pulling that opposite hip crease down. Sorry if I called the wrong arm. And back through center, reaching those arms up, looking up. Reverse, flip the hands. And over to this opposite side. Feel that reach of that top arm and that opening of that hip side body. And back through to center, hands into prayer, forward folding or folding over towards the top of your mat. We're going to work our way now into a tabletop. So if you're really at the front of your mat, like I was, work it back and so that you have space for tabletop. So for now, start articulating that spine again, how we did in the on the mat. So begin to drop the belly, lifting the chin up, and arch the back. You can get a nice full range here, dropping the belly, lifting the chin, and arching the back. One more time, finding your gentle range of motion. We're going to drop the hips back towards the heels, finding our child's pose. All right. Reaching over to your right side. Again, finding that side body opening. Drawing the hips back a little bit more, like you have an assist. Back through to center. Over to the opposite side. Should feel good. Back in through tabletop. So find full access of the mat so you have that length behind the legs. So reaching back, a heel press, so tuck those right toes under. Pushing into the mat, inhale. Exhale, drawing that heel back towards the back of your mat. So you should find a nice calf stretch here, shifting forward and reaching that left leg nice and long. Same thing here, so tucking the toes, reaching back. Inhale, pushing into the hands. Exhale, a little more extension in that back leg. Beautiful. Bring it back into child's pose, so we'll sit those hips back towards the heels. So if you like a little bit more opening between the knees, bringing the toes together. So that's nice wide child's pose, reaching the arms nice and long. The chin and the lips can just press into the mat. And come on up into tabletop. Walk those knees in if you're in your wide child's pose. Walking the hands slightly out towards the front so they're not right under the shoulders. Tuck the toes. We're going to find a little bit of floating bear. So start shifting forward over the wrists, drawing the nice wide fingers, drawing the elbows around so that they're facing back towards those ribs. Inhale, float the knees off the mat, or just the intention of floating the knees off the mat. So you can feel that engagement of the core, and lower down. We're going to try another. Shifting the hands slightly more forward. Drawing those elbows back towards the ribs, shifting forward, float the knees off the mat. We're working our way into our down dog, if you're curious. And drop the knees down. Walking the hands a little bit further out. Shifting forward over those hands, float the knees off the mat. And breathing here. 3 breaths for 3 tries here. 1 more breath. And draw the heels down towards the mat. Tuck the toes. Heels nice and long, reaching towards the back wall. Shifting it forward like in a nice high plank so that the middle upper back can reach like a cathedral, and shifting back into the heels. Shifting forward again, reaching so our back is kind of rounded. And now shifting forward into plank, a little more flat back, pretending we have like a saucer on the back. A saucer with something we don't want to spill. And back into down dog. Step the feet up towards the top of the mat. Roll up nice and slow, getting all parts of the body, reaching the arms up. Reaching the arms up, find a little bit of side opening. So reaching up and over to your right. Find that top arm with that opposite hand. Reaching, reaching, reaching. And release back through to center. Hands back into prayer. Bend the knees, sending the hips down, nice and low. Forward fold here. Maybe drawing the hips away from the heels, finding that length. Roll up again. Maybe the arms are out like reverse your swan or prayer hands. Reaching the arms out and up. Finding that opposite side, so we're just reaching. And then finding that opposite wrist. Helps weight and leverage help to encourage the body to come on over and back through center. Hands into prayer. Take a nice dive down into our forward fold. Let's cross that right foot back behind the left in this forward fold. Maybe the hands come up on the shins for a halfway lift and our forward fold. One more time, halfway lift and our forward fold. And now bringing the feet back side by side. Reach the arms up. Find a little twist here. So reaching that right arm to the back, keeping the hips square towards the front, left arm towards the front, and let the gaze come back towards that back arm. Inhale, reach up. Now left arm back towards the back wall. And reach it up. Beautiful. Hands to prayer, swan dive down into our forward fold. And we're going to find that opposite foot back behind. So stepping that left foot back behind. Maybe we have a little bit of bent knee here. It's okay. We're opening up that outside outside of the glute, thigh, all of that. Halfway lift, hands on the shins, and forward fold. And rise on up, halfway and all the way. Hands into prayer. I want us to consider, as we are here in our practice today, maybe the power of the glutes as we stand in balance poses, as we work our way through sun salutations. So the glutes are very powerful, very helpful to the hips. Standing here, feet are separated a fist distance here, palms are facing the front, opening the chest. Still the belly rises and falls. Still we breathe. Circle the arms up, looking up, flip the palms, looking up, find a slight back bend. So pointing the hip points towards the front and start reaching through the chest and back through center. Forward fold. We're going to find some sun salutations here now. So I'll face away from you so you can see which side. So stepping this right leg back, pulling that right heel back, hands can plant on the mat. So try to have that knee in line with that front ankle. Step that left leg back. So we use those hands as supports. Draw that tailbone down towards the heels. Knees down, coming on down to the mat, and pull through into baby cobra. So the head and chest are off the mat. Reaching through the crown of the head. Drawing those arms back by the sides. Pushing the pelvis into the floor. And pop the hips up. Send it back into child's pose and into our down dog. Pedal it out. Step up to the top of the mat in your forward fold. Halfway lift. This time without crossed legs. Forward fold. Try to keep a nice flat back. Halfway lift. And hands to the mat. Step that left leg back. Lunge. Staying here for a couple of breaths. So use the breath to keep you on the mat, to keep your mind still. Think about a lake that is still, no motion. Sending that right leg back. And knees down to the mat, lower down to the mat. Come on in through baby cobra. Maybe it's slightly higher, so lifting higher. Nice job. Popping the hips up, push back into child's pose. Reach nice and long. Coming into down dog. And pedal it out. Step up to the top of the mat. Now we'll add a little bit of variety here. Halfway lift, hands on the shins. Forward fold. Bless you. Stepping that right leg back, lunge. We have a very kind bunch. Dropping that right knee down to the mat. This is crescent. So shifting forward over, directing over that front foot, and then shifting back, we're coming on to upright. This should feel very good to the hip flexor here on the front. So really squeezing into that glute to push the hips forward, reaching those arms up. Left hand on that left waist. Looking over and reaching over. So take your time here. Add a couple of breaths. And back through center. Let's add another. Reaching over. And back through center. Adding those eyes over towards the side. And back through center. Reaching the arms up. Hands into prayer, shifting forward. Prayer twist if you like, or just stay in prayer hands so you can hook that right elbow on the outside of that left leg. There's room up front too. And shift it back to center, hands frame that front foot, tuck the toes, step it back into our down dog, pedal it out. Beautimus. Step up to the top of the mat. So this is the sun salutation. It's a nice flow. Warms up the body, warms up the back. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Step that right leg back. Lunge. Hands are on the mat. You can always use the hands. Now dropping down on that left leg. Shifting forward a little bit, feeling that pull, opening of the hip flexor, and now coming on upright. So now we're stamping that right foot and we're on the shin of the back leg, reaching the arms up. Are you all having trouble hearing me? A little? Okay. I won't keep you there. All right, so right arm on that right hip, looking over towards that right side. We're gonna find a repeater here. So reaching up and over and up and over. So each time finding a little bit of something. So hands into prayer, shifting forward, coming over to this opposite side. So if you like hooking the elbows, or if you just want to help support with the leg. Breathing here, fill and release. Hands frame that front foot, tuck the toes. So lift the hips high, step it back into down dog. All right, step it up towards the top of the mat and halfway lift. Drawing the belly into spine, forward fold. Reaching the arms up. Find a little bit of extension here, pointing the index finger, crossing the thumbs. Little bit of extension. Find a little bit of breath, using the belly for support, hands into prayer. Forward fold. We're going to take a nice big step back with that right foot, and we're going to find our wide side of the mat. So open up to the wide side of the mat. So feel the feet and the hands as support. Lower down. You can add bent knees to lower down rather than bending the back. That looks awesome and amazing. Yes. So bending those knees. Now work it side to side, because this is our first official opening of the inner thighs. And then we'll stay here on this right side, plant the hip down towards the heel. You can lower down. If you like to stay up a little higher or use blocks, that's cool too. And you can even lift those back, the extended leg, the toes, lift them up and set them back down. Coming back up, using those hands to come on back up. And moving the hips side to side, and now left and right, left and right. Adding this movement feels good, and settling down, hips towards that left heel. You can point the right toes, or you can lift those toes. You can feel a little bit more engagement of that inner thigh. Come on back to center, toggling right and left, right and left. Roll up nice and slow. How we began our class with some stars. So reaching those arms out nice and long. Turning the toes out, coming in for goddess. So lowering the hips down, opening the knees apart, and now cactus arms. So bringing those arms level with the shoulders. Inhale, reach like star. Lower down, goddess. Inhale, reach. And lower down, goddess. One more, inhale, reach. And goddess. And now hands on those thighs. We're gonna just dip the right shoulder in and then dip that left shoulder in. One more time, right and left. You can add a little bit of sway with those knees. And now stepping, pivoting towards the top of the mat, back into our lunge. Step that left leg back into down dog. Yoga is yoga. Yoga is good. It's good for our bodies. Use the breath to keep us centered on the mat, on the practice. So here in our down dog, we're breathing. Nice full inhale and exhale. Next inhale and exhale, let it go all out of the mouth. And come on down to the mat into our child's pose. A little bit of rest off the wrists. So reaching the arms nice and long. If you like this time to bring the knees together, we have a little bit more rounded back. And again, you can reach over to the right if that feels good. Reach over to the center. And then over to the left. And back through to center. So we're going to come up into squat. If you know that you like using a block, or if you want me to bring you a block, squat is a pose that we can access. So from our child's pose, come on up, tuck the toes. Maybe this feels good, so you can pause here for a moment. Sitting up nice and tall on those tucked toes. And then begin to come up off the knees onto the balls of the feet. So rock yourself up a little higher. Then stepping the feet, maybe walking them out one step at a time. You're like, oh, but I'm so low. Yes, and then start just opening you can just kind of toggle back and forth in that squat position. Ready to exit squat. Find your way to child's pose. We're going to make our way to the tops of the mat, do a little bit of balance work here. So when you're ready, come on up onto sitting, coming into down dog, so tuck those toes, and come on up to your top of your mat. Maybe reaching the arms up, find a little bit of opening to the right side, maybe even drawing that right hand alongside the openness, the opening of your right side, or I should say closed inness, back in through center, reaching the arms up and over to this opposite side. Speak a little louder. All right, back in through to center, just standing here, drawing the palms open, opening in the chest, opening the heart. Think about drawing energy from the glutes. So pushing pushing into the hips with the glutes. Think about that stabilization. We'll find a little bit of a set here. So reaching the arms out, eagle arms, and swing. Let's find a few tries at finding this right elbow under left. So it's good for the shoulders to add this range. Try not to whop somebody. And then when you arrive at your point that feels good to you, you can either clasp the opposite shoulders, opposite forearms, or twist around, whatever it is that you like, and then add movement. So adding back movement, swaying side to side, hip movement, side to side. When you're ready, come on back up. Should feel good. Reaching the arms up, pointing with those fingertips, reaching the elbows down towards the belly, feeling it all work for us. Centering the weight on that left foot, bringing that right knee up, crossing it over, pointing that toe down. You can use that toe as a kickstand. The eyes can be nice and soft, but catching that reverse focus of the hands, the arms around the hands. Sorry, the eyes around the hands, body parts. And now start to undo that leg, unravel, and start sending it back to the back wall for warrior three. You can begin to unravel the arms and sending them open. They can be like flying, they can be like T-shape. You can hug them back in, drawing those shoulder blades in together. Kicking those toes down, lengthening out in that back leg. And now coming back through, swinging that knee through to an upright position. Tap it down if you like. I do. Squeezing the glutes though helps to control the transitions of the poses into tree. So find a spot on the inside of that leg, reaching the arms up. Again, squeeze the glutes. Try to keep slight engagement of the glutes to really stabilize the pelvis. And reaching the arms, doesn't have to reach. We could sway, we can add movement. We can go into prayer hands. And knee up and set it down. So that's a lot of load on that one foot. Probably notice if it feels a little something. All right, it's good. All right, shoulders circle them back. Reaching the arms out and up. And now finding eagle on the opposite side. So left arm swinging around for underneath. Find a few takes. A few takes at this, few passes. And then serpentine down. Moving the hips side to side, the back. And then come on back up to upright. Reaching those fingers up and away. And the elbows down towards the belly. And now weight in that right foot. So really spread those toes apart, maybe pushing into the big toe. Bend that right knee. Cross that left leg over top. Drawing the belly in. Think about the pelvis as a bowl that is maintaining as best we can more level hips. And now unraveling that leg, coming for warrior three. So we're stamping that foot to the back wall, unraveling the arms, and maybe picking something a little different for the arms. Maybe if they were just flying, that's good. Maybe T-shape, maybe arms back behind the back. Lengthen through the leg, pointing the toes down. Start sending that knee up to the front, and now finding placement on the inside of that leg. Go ahead and tap down if you need, because it's just a practice. Reaching those arms like around the great big sun that's revealing itself today for us, and we are grateful. Bring the hands back into prayer, knee up, set it back down. Beautiful. Definitely feel it in the feet. So let's find a little something for the feet. So some movement, some focus. So we're just gonna shift our arms back, hips back, like chair with some movement. So reaching the arms up now, up, swing them back and forth, back and to the front. And now we're going to add lifting up off the heels just a little bit more, a little bit more. Trying to go tall rather than forward. Helps with the balance. Go tall. I need it this morning. Add one more nice big length up on the balls of the feet and set it down. Arms down by your sides. All right. If you'd like to take a sip of water, get comfortable. Hopefully everybody's feeling really good. All right, so we're going to do a little bit of sequence work here with down dog and incorporating lunge. And so things that you've already seen and some things that are a little bit new. So we'll try this. So reach the arms up, hands into prayer. So if you need space, go ahead and step forward, maybe scoot your mat forward. All right, we'll do it one more time. Circle the arms out and up. And hands into prayer. Forward fold, step that right leg back, lunge. Drop down that right leg, somewhere we've been before. Untuck the toes, come on upright. Reaching up. Left hand on that left waist, looking over and coming over now this time. A little bit more. And back through center, reaching the arms up, hands into prayer, shifting forward, prayer twist. And square up, hands frame that front foot, tuck those right toes, step it in just a little bit. So now we're on rails. It's called intense stretch or backside, also called pyramid, has many names. So we don't want to feel this in our backs, like strain in our backs, but what we do want to feel is length in the back of the legs. So maybe add a little bit of hands on the shin, that front shin, like you're in a halfway lift, and pushing back that left hip and bringing forward the right hip. And lower down, bend the knee, rise on up. So this is a repeat, and lower down, bend the knee, and rise on up. And now we're gonna put weight into this left foot. So hands are on the mat, bringing that right knee in towards that left knee. Bird on a wire, start flexing that foot. You can walk, now this puts a lot of load on this leg. Maybe if you'd like to toe down and then walk your hands up so your chest is a little more upright, and now bring your bird on a wire in. So now bring that foot up off the mat. Truly, I feel like we look like birds on a wire. And now extend it out, warrior 3. And flex that foot. Bend the knees, step it back, high lunge, reaching the arms up. So maybe if we're not in that nice long stance, maybe wiggle it back with that back foot, reaching nice and long. And now reaching to the front and reaching those arms back and reaching up. So we're coming forward and coming back up, reaching those arms back. And back up, and forward and back up to upright. Hands frame that front foot, step it back into our down dog, pedal it out. We can take a flow or skip a flow here. So shifting into plank, on the knees are off. And chaturanga, if it's in your practice, those elbows really skirt those sides of the ribs. Pull through into up dog this time. Take a moment. Tuck those toes. Come on back into down dog. We'll step it up to the top of the mat. Rise on up nice and slow. Reaching the arms up. Hands into prayer. Take a moment. Turning the head to the right and to the left. And to the right and to the left. Tucking the chin down in towards the chest. So we're just sort of adding some movement here. Looking up towards the ceiling. Drawing that tailbone down and in. And neutral back to center with the head. Check out the jaw. All right, hands frame the feet, step that left leg back. Nice big lunge here. Drop down to crescent. Untuck those toes. Come on upright, reaching the arms up. And hand on that right side, reaching over and looking over to the right. Just like music, when something is familiar, when you've heard it before, or when you've felt it before, it feels more comfortable. Reaching those arms up, prayer hands shifting forward into twisted prayer. And release back through to the center. Tucking the toes, step it up for Parsvottanasana. So this is that intense backside stretch. You can have your hands up higher on your shins. You can bend the knees. So start bringing that chest down towards the extended front leg and halfway lift. Start drawing that left hip forward, the right hip back, lower down. Inhale, rise up. One more, lower down. Pulling that right hip back. And rise on up. Bird on a wire. So weight on that right foot. Start drawing that right leg in behind the right knee. So just feeling that, also stamping the foot on the back wall, so really flexing that foot. And then toe down and come on a little bit more tall with the torso. And again, drawing that left knee in towards that back of that right leg. Hug it in. And send it through, reaching that leg up towards the front and to the back, warrior three. I probably skipped that part last time. Bringing the knee forward. I think it's a nice transition. So if this one felt more natural, it may have for that, or it may have just for it being your same thing. Okay, knee come on through to the front. And step it back into high lunge, reaching those arms up. And now we'll find a little variation with the arms. So shifting forward, reaching nice and long, pulling the hips back, and reaching, extending up, finding cactus arms. Reaching forward. Inhale, rise back on up, cactus arms. One more, rising forward and back to cactus arms. Frame that front foot, step it back into down dog, pedal it out here. And meet me in your child's pose. Add movement. Come on up into your tabletop. Reaching that right leg back, extending through that right leg, extending through that left arm. Nice reach, also balance work. Kicking the toes down towards the mat. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. And one last time, bringing the elbow to knee. And reach. Elbow to knee. And reach. Elbow to knee. One more time. And set it down. Stepping that right foot up towards that right wrist. Come on up. Reaching up. Open the chest. Lifting the chin. And now we'll come in, bringing that foot back. We're going to sit on our heels. Reaching those arms up and down. And now pushing the glutes, sending the hips forward and lowering back down. Hips forward and back down. And now rising up, reaching the arms, pushing those hips forward and back down. Pushing it forward and back down. One last time, reaching up. Reaching that right arm back, almost like we're swimming, looking for a back pocket. Reaching with that left arm, pushing the hips forward, squeezing the glutes. Back into center. Coming on down, sitting on the heels. Reaching the arms up. Now find that left pocket, reaching through that right arm. Pushing into the pelvis, pushing it forward. And reaching the arms back, coming back into child's pose. Finding one more tabletop here. Reaching that left leg back. Right arm forward. Lower down for 3. Lift and lower. And then bring that left leg and right elbow in, elbow to knee, reaching, elbow to knee, reaching, elbow to knee, and reach. Bring that left leg forward, step it through, rise on up. Cactus arms, maybe even opening the mouth a little bit, letting the jaw really go. Reaching the arms up. Frame that foot. Step it back. Sitting on the heels. Reaching the arms up. Rising up. Pushing forward and lower down. This time tuck the toes. So we might be able to access our heels better that way. So spread those toes apart. Sitting back on the heels. On the heels. Reaching the arms up, pushing forward and lower down. Pushing forward and lower down. And one more, pushing forward, and this time reaching that right arm back towards the back pocket. Or if you want to feel for that heel, reaching that left arm up. Think about the heart drawing up, forward. Scooping through, back through to center. Heels, sitting on the heels. Tucking the chin in towards the chest. Back through, reaching the arms up. Let's find that same thing on the back side. So left arm reaching back for that left heel. Reaching that right arm up. Still breathing. Reaching that right arm. Let's come into our child's pose. We've done so much nice movement for the body. we're coming upon our recovery, which is the Shavasana, which really takes in all aspects of the practice. So I want to give you a chance to do some pigeon. Maybe that's a favorite in the class, or it might be figure 4. So if you're familiar with pigeon, coming into your down dog, reaching that right leg back to the back wall. This is our 3-legged dog. Sending this right knee in towards that right wrist. And you decide if this feels okay to you, to your leg. There's a lot of compression here. You can also do this in figure 4. So if you like, you can do this in figure 4. So you can walk it back with that left foot if you want to find a little more space. And you can come on down over that front leg. If you have a block handy and you want to put it under that right hip. Staying here for a couple of breaths. When you're ready, release that leg, reach it nice and long to the back like you had your 3-legged dog, reaching it back. And now step that down and find some energy in your down dog before we begin to float the opposite leg up towards the ceiling and send it through to that opposite wrist and settle down on the mat. Staying upright. Before you want to come down onto the floor. Upright, release that leg, reach it out into the towards the back of the room, that 3-legged dog. So you're in your down dog, 3-legged dog shape. Lengthen out through that leg. And then come on to child's pose. We're going to open out onto our backs. So come on, sitting on your heels in child's pose. Sending this bottom leg now so that it's square with the top of the mat. Sending that opposite leg over top. Seated spinal twist, sitting up nice and tall. So you can hug that top leg in and reach around. Using the gaze to help direct the back, the neck, the spine. Think of length and twist. Back through to center and the opposite side. Now we switch out the legs so feet are on the mat. Windshield wiper those knees. And now opposite is true. That shin, opposite shin is parallel. So you'll feel it if you're doing the same side, you'll feel it. So crossing that opposite leg over top. So we're just sort of in this nice crisscross with that bottom leg straight and finding your twist on that opposite side. And now we'll just work our way down to the floor. Right now there's just city sounds, no sounds. Thinking about ways that our practice can serve others as well as ourselves. So as you relax into your Shavasana, there's no one shape you can do. So sometimes palms up, opening in the chest and the front, lengthening out through the legs. Bring awareness to the breath. Wiggle out the toes. Move the wrists, circle them out. Take a nice cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Sound is energy. Breath is energy. Life is energy. When we think about it, everything is energy. Even a small smile is energy. So maybe bringing those knees in nice and close towards the belly. Hug it in. Maybe even crossing those feet. Hugging in the feet with the hands. And you can either roll up towards the front of your mat, or you can rock onto your side and push up with your hands. Sitting up, bless you, sitting in an upright position. Enjoying the sound of this bowl until it speaks no more. Thank you for allowing me to guide you in your practice today. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Awesome. You have a different mat?
Yeah, we got, yes.
It's good.
Yeah, we got
yay, hey.
And John got a strap for Valentine's Day.
Good.
Yay, you got all
Yay.
all the good stuff.
I thought it'd be neat to hear the city sounds at the end. But it's not too loud down here on Saturday, is it?
It's just, yeah.
But I mean,
Wait to see if a fire truck
oh yes.